let us all do we can to build a better future.
Originally, I wanted to pull this story from, I think, the San Francisco Chronicle or whatever it was, but apparently they don't allow you to read stories if you're not subscribed to them. That's free press. Make it super available.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it anyway, just from another site. So this is about a journalist who the people protecting this person are trying to get a case precedent not set. And of course, the police are really trying to get it set. But a U.S. journalist is about to be jailed for covering a protest. That's the crime. This is the punishment. Let's talk about it. A journalist went on trial Monday on charges stemming from her coverage of a protest against racial injustice in Des Moines last year after Iowa prosecutors defied international pressure. You know, you're doing the right thing when the international community is like, can you not arrest this journalist doing their job? To drop a rare effort to punish a working reporter. Des Moines Register news reporter Andrea Sahori, who was pepper sprayed and jailed while reporting on a clash between protesters and police in May, is charged with failure to disperse and interference with official acts. That sounds like the fascist dictatorship we were told would be happening under Trump, but here we are. If convicted on the simple misdemeanor charges, a 25-year-old could be fined hundreds of dollars and will have a criminal record. A judge could also sentence her to up to 30 days in jail on each count, although that would be unusual. Advocates for journalism and human rights, the people that the police are against in most of these cases in the U.S. and abroad, have pressed Iowa authorities to drop charges, arguing that Sahari was simply doing her job by documenting the event. But of course, police don't want you to do that because they just like to beat you without cameras. That's really great. They don't have to fill out paperwork. I mean, they do, but then they get that overtime, but they don't get in trouble. It's wonderful. But for prosecutors in the office of Polk County Attorney John Sarcone, sure, whatever, have pressed forward with the case against Sari and her former boyfriend. Oh, of course they're getting the boyfriend. Where have I heard another case of the police going after a boyfriend and girlfriend after doing horrible things? Spencer Robnett, who faces the same charges. The pair are standing trial in a courtroom at Drake University in Des Moines as part of a program for law students. The university is broadcasting the proceedings, which are expected to last 2 days. Lawyers have begun selecting a 6-member jury from the larger pool on Monday morning. The U.S. Press Freedom Tracker has not recorded any other trials of working journalists in the country since 2018. Sari was among more than 125 reporters detained or arrested during the civil unrest that unfolded across the U.S. in 2020. 13, including Sahori, still face persecution, although the majority of those arrested were not charged and the charges were dismissed. Yeah, what we're used to seeing is the police arrest you, beat up people, and then in the morning go, off you go. Employees at the Gannett newspaper chain, which owns USA Today, the Register, and hundreds of other newspapers, have flooded social media with support for Sahori in recent days. Again, so they have international support on her side and against Iowa. You have human rights on her side and against Iowa. You have human rights on her side and against Iowa. And now you have a huge amount of newspapers in the area on her side and against Iowa. I wonder who's in the right. I can't figure out. So anyway, Columbia Journalism School, where she graduated in 2019 before joining the Register, expressed solidarity. So plus a school, Solidarity Monday, promoting the hashtag Stand with Andrea, and journalism is not a crime. So that's happening. It's happening right now in real time.
Here in the United States?
Here in the United States, we are effectively arresting journalists for being journalists.
Well, we've seen this before during the height of the Black Lives Matter protests, as well as numerous other protests that we've seen even before 2020. Independent journalists are always put on the chopping block. They're at risk of being deplatformed on social media. Mm-hmm. There's one journalist in particular who's somewhere in the European hemisphere, whom we've got to be careful in saying his name, who's in the fight for his life. You have whistleblowers who are, at risk of going to jail. And the thing is, we have to protect freedom of speech now more than ever. And see, this is something that impacts socialists, libertarians, Republicans, Democrats, Greens. It doesn't matter what your political affiliation or who you worship. The freedom of the press is fundamental. Now, why is this important? It's able to cover stories that the people need to know to empower themselves. And number two, hold those people in power accountable. The press that we have with corporate media, it doesn't do that. Corporate media is only there for access and doing sensational stories. Now, look, they can't cover up the neoliberal lie for too long because I think we're seeing it right now firsthand how it's falling apart in front of us. Look, there's a lot of independent journalists out there, freelance reporters that are covering on evictions, environmental racism, environmental pollution, climate change, our crumbling infrastructure, the fact that people, again, are being evicted from their homes and apartments, student debt, medical debt, the fact we don't have Medicare for all, the fact that we have
falling apart. And we're falling empire.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, we must stand in solidarity with journalists. Everyone should. And even when you have the likes of Sarah Palin, who said, "Hey, I made a mistake about JA," right? And I think we all know who I'm talking about.
That.
When she even when she and look, he released emails about her too.
Remember, we're talking about Jewel, Ian, us, Anj. There you go. That works.
There we go. Yeah.
Working with you.
Yeah, working with you. So, and the thing is, like, even if we have people like that say, hey, look, he needs to, come home. He needs to be pardoned. Yeah. Like, we have to protect press because look, we got suspended.
Isn't it a crazy world?
Because we got suspended and we saw some of our colleagues get suspended or demonetized. And thankfully we're back. But the press shouldn't be like this. And all of you should be furious and angry because this is going to be impacting us for years to come. And if JA is extradited here to the States, well, guess what? Freedom of speech, freedom of the press will be put on a severe chopping block and things will change. Things will fundamentally change and not in a good way.